during India's G20 presidency. And G20 is important because it accounts for about 85% of the global GDP. It accounts for almost 80% of the global trade. And it accounts for almost 75% of the global population. During India's G20 presidency, not only India did it very differently from the rest of the world. Other countries hold it in one city or two cities at the best. India hosted a G20 in every state and union territory of India and held it in almost 60 cities of India and used that opportunity to transform these cities by improving its drainage, sewage, solid waste. But more important than that, India straddled through the world of G7, all the emerging markets, Russia, China, and bring them all together on all key issues confronting the world. Whether it was strong, sustainable, inclusive, and balanced growth, whether it was accelerating the pace of sustainable development goals in the post-COVID era, whether it was a Green Development Pact for climate action and climate finance, or whether it was reform of the multilateral financial institution, or technological transformation and digital public infrastructure, or women-led development, in all these issues. And there were 83 paras in all. 83 paras. India was able to bring consensus on all these issues for the first time in G20. On all these issues. And more important than that, we were confronted with a very major challenge of an ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, where United Nations had failed. The G20 of India succeeded in bringing consensus on the issue of Russia-Ukraine. This was unparalleled, and this could happen because of India's hard power and soft power built during the last decade, and because of the stature and standing of the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. We could take a lot of risk, we could be gutsy, we could be bold, we could be courageous, largely on account of this leadership. And it's important to dwell a little bit on this, because if you look at the last decade, India has carried out a vast range of structural reforms in its economy. It's brought in GST, one tax across the economy, is brought in a modern bankruptcy law, is brought in the Real Estate Regulation Act to save middle class of India, is brought in the finest corporate tax rates, it's focused on ease of doing business, and scrapped a vast range of rules, regulation, procedures, and processes, and scrapped almost 1,500 laws. The structural reforms were accompanied by digital transformation of India. 1.4 billion digital identities, 550 million bank accounts were opened during 2015-17. When we started opening bank accounts in 2015, only 18% of the women in India had bank accounts. Today, 91% of the women have bank accounts in India. This has not happened anywhere else in the world. And then we linked up both the digital identity and the mobile number, which enabled us to do fast payments. Today, we are the world's #1 in real-time fast payments in the world. We do 46% of the real-time fast payments. Last year, we did 128 billion fast payments. In the world, China was second with 26 billion fast payments. That was the difference. From 128 billion India, China 26 billion. And then we had a number of our startups doing cashless, paperless credit, number of young startups doing wealth creation by taking stock market to rural areas, tier 2, tier 3 cities, a number of startups giving insurance in 1 minute flat on the basis of your mobile. So fast payments in 30 seconds, wealth creation in 30 seconds, and digital insurance in 1 minute. That has been the transformation of India. And this is all open source, open API. This is globally interoperable. And unlike the rest of the world, where data is monopolized by the big tech, Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Amazon in India, and in China by Tencent and Alibaba, in India, the data is owned by the citizens of India. And they give permission which is technically made possible by their consent on the mobile, on the go. So our model during G20 was accepted as the best model in the world. The definition of digital public infrastructure and the framework was accepted. And today we've taken it to 20 countries of the world, and tomorrow we'll take it to the rest of the world.